Since its IPO, Palantir has taken the investing world by storm, being championed by both consumers and Wall Street alike, but much of its business has been shrouded in secrecy. In this video, we take a dive into Palantir the company, Palantir's three main products, Gotham, Foundry, and Apollo, and decide if Palantir is a stock worth buying. You can jump straight to the stock analysis and my year-end price target with the timestamps in the description below. Let's get started. Palantir was founded in 2003 by billionaire investor Peter Thiel, who some may know as the co-founder of PayPal. Thiel worked with Stanford graduate Stephen Cohen to create the company's first prototype, and shortly after its completion, Alex Karp, also a graduate of Stanford, was hired on as CEO. Palantir received early investments from the CIA and gained many of its early contracts from the intelligence community. Palantir continues to have a very pro-US government stance, securing multiple US military contracts, and with Alex Karp going as far as to state that Palantir would not do business with adversarial governments such as China.
The odd reality that many in Silicon Valley are not willing to support the US government in military context is something that should be a source of great discussion. And I, for one, always want to hear, well, if that's the case, how do you justify the fact that you're building your company in the US and driving on our highways and getting protection from countries that are unhappy with the encroachment on their sovereignty simply because they don't want to offend the US government and our taxpayers? So that is a really big issue in America, that many of our software elites have a very different view on how you should support the country that has supported us than, say, we do at Palantir and I do personally.
Karp's vision for the company is to build software that integrates data, decision-making, and operations into a single unified platform. Software that looks to gather data from all potential sources within a company, naturalize it, and present it through various graphical user interfaces. This, in theory, would allow organizations and employees to use analytics to see and respond to things they could not have before. This speaks to the source of the company's name, which is a nod to the mythical seeing stones known as Palantir in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. So how do they do this? Gotham is a software application that at its core looks to aggregate data from all endpoints within a given company. That could be static data from a collection of database servers, live data feeds from thousands of sensors out in the real world, or any collection of infrastructure capable of storing or transmitting information. The point is, Gotham is able to intake all this data, transform it in such a way that it can be queried and worked with, and then presented in industry-specific graphical user interfaces that can be used by employees to do their job more effectively. For example, one can think of a rocket launch and the immense integration of information that is needed for it to be successful. Theoretically, Palantir's Gotham software would be able to integrate the live data from all the various sensors on a rocket, the data feed from a weather service, the health profiles and biometrics of all individuals involved, and any imaginable data the company may already be capturing. And in theory, employees using this software would be presented with only the most useful information to achieve their job. An engineer would have a screen output of the engines or fuel systems, while a medic in charge of astronaut safety would be presented with a 3D modeled view of each astronaut with output of their biometrics and vitals. These kind of applications could be customized to all sorts of industry and employee-specific use cases, one of those being warfare, and Palantir is already building out a battlefield-specific implementation for the US government, so you can start to see the potential here. Foundry is another software product offered by Palantir that aims to remove the barriers between back-end data management and front-end data analysis. It is a software layer built over all of the existing data infrastructure of a company. All company applications and data reside under a single consolidated ontology, with access to information across the business. Information is no longer siloed within a single department's servers, but rather shared across the entire organization to its benefit. Business processes can be built out in Foundry and be consistent across the organization. Palantir promises increased data security, analytical ability, and efficiency across the enterprise. This could be a huge potential savings impact for customers. They believe Foundry can become the web that brings all of the company's information together, and if they're able to integrate themselves well, they'll maintain long-term contracts and be very profitable. Apollo is the fundamental piece that allows Palantir to act as a software-as-a-service company, and it is critical to Palantir's bottom line. Rather than selling a static version of Foundry and Gotham to its customers, Palantir deploys constant fixes and improvements and works with its customers to provide customization through its Apollo deployment system. Apollo allows for continuous upgrades and feature deployments. This continued service can be leveraged as a recurring source of revenue. Palantir claims they can provide secure software deployments to even highly critical infrastructure, Think nuclear substations and classified government sites, where infrastructure is typically locked down from the cloud and remote access. Working in this industry, I know progress can be painfully slow in the arena, and if Palantir can truly deliver here, they open up more potential sources of revenue. And the revenue has been coming in. Palantir has been able to land significant contracts despite its limited marketing and sales teams. Just recently, they were able to reach agreements with PG&E, BP, the United States Army, the United States Air Force, the FDA, and NHS. These are some huge names that should pay out for Palantir in the long term. But is the stock a buy? Please do your own research before buying any stock. I'm just some random guy and could be totally wrong. But there's no doubt that Palantir revenue is exploding. The company pulled in $1.1 billion in revenue in 2020, a 47% year-on-year growth from 2019, and forecasts 30% yearly growth moving forward. This is massive. However, there are still some concerns to be had. Despite exploding revenue growth, Palantir is already a rather large company with a $50 billion market cap, and the company is losing an increasing amount of money each year. Despite being founded over 17 years ago, it has yet to post a profit. This is slightly concerning. But let's look deeper, as they do have some exciting fundamentals. Last year, they had a gross profit margin of 67%. Massive. And the company has been sinking huge investments into research and development, with over $500 million invested last year alone. This is what you love to see in a growing company, following in the footsteps of Tesla and Amazon. Palantir also spent $1.35 billion on selling general and administrative expenses in 2020, sinking their total profit on the year. And while this may look bad, much of it stems from one-time expenses as a result of the recent IPO and stock-based compensation. Even with these expenses and the $500 million in debt they have, Palantir is sitting on over $2 billion in cash, more than enough to cover all of these liabilities. This is bullish. So, the big question, should we be buying? In my opinion, the recent short-term bond yield fears have presented a great opportunity to buy this stock. I think Palantir will hit a $45 price target by end of year based off a projected $4 billion in revenue in 2025 and a revenue multiple of 15x. Simply put, the company is experiencing massive growth and has some amazing customers. If they can truly provide the value that they market, and it very much seems like they are, then they are here to stay and will continue to grow massively. If you're interested on whether or not you should be buying the dip on Tesla, watch this video. Leave a comment below if you're adding Palantir to your portfolio. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you didn't, a dislike. And if you're interested in watching future videos on investing in the stock, crypto, and real estate markets, subscribe below. Thanks guys. Peace.